Welcome to my channel EDU Nursing. Today we are going to have a small discussion on a topic of sense organ, which is a basic topic of anatomy and physiology. So before starting the topic, let me remind you about the subscription. If till now you have not subscribed my channel, kindly subscribe my channel and press the bell icon, so whenever I will post a new video you will get a notification of it. So without wasting the time, we will start a new topic, that is the sense organ, which I told you a topic is from anatomy and physiology. So among the sense organ, the first function or the first organ we can say, that is a sense of touch. Sense of touch is going to carried by an organ, skin, which is the largest organ in our body. So what is the function of skin? A first and very important function is to give protection. Now on the screen, as you can see, our mobile cover or a screen guard gives protection to our mobile or a keyboard. Same way, your skin is going to protect your organ from infection, injury, as well as water loss. Next function is maintain a body temperature, which is also known as thermoregulation. It helps to regulate the body temperature. Without the nerve cell in our skin, we couldn't feel warmth, cold, or any type of sensation. As you all know, what is the function of nerve? To pass on electrical impulses and to send the impulses from brain to the organ and from the organ to the brain. So this nervous system gives a sensation to our body part, and a sensation, that is the maintenance of body temperature, is going to be carried out by skin. And a sweat cools off the body. Next is goosebump. Keep the heat in. Whenever you will feel cold, you must have experienced you are getting goosebump. What is that goosebump? That is hair follicles are getting tightened. Because of that, your hairs which are present on your body, or pores which are present in your body, that is getting tightened to maintain the skin temperature and to maintain the heat in your body. So the heat loss will not be there. Next function is to give a sense of touch. A nerve ending, which I told you present in our skin, gives a supply to the body from the brain, and from the brain to the body. Whatever messages need to be passed, that is going to be carried out by the nervous system. The sense of cold, hot, smooth, rough, all type of sensation are going to be there by the skin. Now there are mainly three layers of skin. So the first layer is epidermis. Epi means above or outer. So the epidermis is the outer layer of your skin. It is rough, protective outer layer. It is about thick as thick as a paper sheet. Okay, and that is the largest organ in your body. Skin is the largest organ in your body and constantly flank off and being revolted. Now the next layer is a layer of dermis. That is a middle layer. Dermis contain nerve end, which helps to feel how the things are, like whether it is hot, whether it is cold. Whenever you are feeling any hot substances, if you are touching any hot substance, immediately you are withdrawing the hand. Why? Because that sense of touch is going to be given from the nerve to the brain, and brain is going to give the impulses to the hand that you have to withdraw that hand. And as well as it carries a blood vessel and oil gland, which is also known as sebaceous gland. Also your dermis layer is going to contain your sweat gland. So maximum things which are present, that is present in your dermis layer. So a patient who is having a diabetes mellitus, especially we are advising them to give a proper foot care. Why? Because their nerve endings are getting damaged. Because of that, something known as neurosis, they are getting the neurosis. So because of that, the nerve ending is getting damaged. Okay, because the nerve ending is getting damaged, they are not having that sensation of hot, cold and all. Because of that, we are advising them to give a foot care. Now you must have studied in the foundation of nursing about the bed sore. So first degree bed sore will not pain much, but second degree bed sore will pain more and more. So why it is so? Because maximum things, that is your blood vessel, nerve ending, oil gland and all, everything is present in your second layer, that is the dermis. And the last layer is your subcutaneous layer, that is the bottom layer. Mostly their fat is present, help to stay a body, which help to stay a body warm and absorb a shock. Each hair on your body grows out a tiny tube that is called as follicle. The follicles are coming, you must have seen, if you are plucking a hair, on the root there is something whitish color, so that is the follicle. Every follicle has a root way down in the sebaceous gland layer, and which is continued till the dermis. So these are main three layer of skin, that is epidermis, dermis and subcutaneous layer. So whenever you are in your exam, the question is being asked, you have to draw the same diagram and with the explanation. So the next sense we will see, that is the sense of taste. Okay, how the taste is going to be, how you are getting the taste. Now there is some connection between the nose and the tongue. Whenever we are smelling something very good, a nice aroma comes, for example your favorite dish is getting prepared somewhere, automatically you will start having that saliva. Why it is so? You are getting sense through the nose, but you are getting saliva in the mouth. Why? Because there is a connection between a nose. The nose is going to give a it is going to carry out some type of impulses in form of aroma. That aroma is going to be go in your brain, the impulses are going to go in your brain, and you will get an indication that is your favorite dish. So automatically the brain is going to give impulses to the tongue that your favorite food is going to come in front of you, so automatically the salivation is going to be start. So about tongue we have already studied in the digestive system. If you have not checked the previous lecture of mine, so you can go back. I will put a link in the description as well about the lecture, so it will be easy for you to study about the tongue. So without wasting the time, I will not take more time in the tongue because already we have studied it. Okay, so tongue is a sense organ. When I was teaching the digestive system, I already told one of the main function of the tongue is to get a taste. There are taste bud as well as the taste follicles are present, that is a papillae, which is a taste bud. The small dots, if you can see, that is the taste bud. So the whenever you will get a smell of your favorite dish or else very nice aromatic smell of food you are getting, automatically the nerve impulses will be giving impulses to the brain, and the brain will give impulses to your tongue to get a salivation. So that is the phenomena. Okay, so these are the main three function of tongue. Sorry, the main three function of tongue, that is the first is to eat. While eating we are making a bolus, we are chewing the food, we are making the bolus. So for making the bolus and mixing the saliva in the food, that is the first function. Second is to grasp the taste of the food, and next is speech. This is the same explanation about the salivation, brain and taste which I told you just now. Now in your tongue there is not all the area are having all the taste. As you can see in the diagram, the bitter taste you can experience at the posterior part of your tongue. Okay, there your bitter taste follicles are there, your papillae are there. Then at the both the lateral side, in the middle lateral side, if you can see the pink dot, there your sour taste you will get, and the salty taste you will get at the anterior lateral side, and on the tip of the tongue you will get a sweet taste. So this is the about the taste. Now next sense is a sense of smell. Now how do you smell? How you are smelling? So nose is a sense organ that detect the smell. There are millions of smell receptors which are present inside your nasal cavity. The one of the function is smell, then again breathe, and as well as taste, as we have seen in the tongue. Now how this sense of smell is taking place? Whenever you are getting any aroma, that receptors are present inside the nose, the nerve endings are present inside the nose, the nerves will capture that and it is going to be sent to your brain. Okay, so this is the sense of, or you can say a process of smell of food. When we breathe, some chemicals are entered in the nose. It can be anything. If you are liking samosa, if you are liking pav bhaji, or whatever taste, if you are getting whatever food person is preparing, that chemical substance will go inside the nose. The chemical is going to dissolve in the mucus which is present in the nose, and after that, that stimulate the smell receptor to produce a message. That impulses are going to be produced, that impulses will be get stimulated. Then after that, these messages are sent to brain to give an order of food. Now already you must have sensed that smell once upon your time. Okay, sometime you must have smelled that, so automatically in your brain it will come. You have not seen the substance, you have not seen that food, but then too you will get an idea, yes, somewhere somebody is preparing this food. So these messages are sent to brain and it automatically you will identify the food. Now a food which you don't like, even those food are going to produce some type of odor. Okay, some type of odor will be going to be produced with that food also. That also same smell is going to go inside your nose. The receptor, the mucus is going to capture that chemical substance. Again after that, there will be a chemical reaction is going to take place. The receptors are going to send to same taste to your brain, but this time you will not salivate. Why? Because that odor you will not like. Your brain will send an impulses, the odor you do not know, and that is an unpleasant odor, so automatically you will not have that salivation. Now the hot food is having a strong smell. Why? Because the food is hot already, it is the food is getting fumed, it is getting fume, and it is going to go easily in your nose. So that's why a warm food is having a more and more taste as well as a smell. Some medicines are unpleasant, nobody likes to take any type of medication. Some people are having habit of taking or liking to take cough syrup, that is a type of addiction any which ways, that is not the normal. But nobody, generally nobody likes to take medicine. So you can hold your nose and take a medicine, because it is a unpleasant taste any which ways, because if once you will smell it, automatically you will not have that feeling to have it. As you can see on the screen, our tongue can only distinguish 4 different type of taste, but nose can distinguish 4000 different type of chemicals. Now why do the elder like to take a food with strong smell, with or a strong odor? This is because the sense of smell or taste are in elderly is more weaker than the normal people, like in the young people or else in the children. If you will see, those people will not like to take more and more like this food, but these people will like to take. Why? Because the sense of smell, sense of taste is already weaker in their case. Already it will become weaker in the elderly people. So if the odor is not strong, and like this the smell is not good, and that also if they will take, they will not feel, only they will not feel to have anything. So that's why these people sense of smell and taste is not very good. That's why they are like to take things which are having a strong smell as well as taste. Now next is a sense of hearing. Mainly a function of your ear is to balance the equilibrium. So many people are having a problem of motion sickness whenever they are traveling in the bus, or else they are going on the height, or else they are going in some ride, they are feeling nauseatic. Why? Because that time your equilibrium of your body is not able to maintain by you. So automatically, because of that disturbance of the equilibrium, your nerve is getting stimulated, and because of that the people will be having giddiness as well as the vomiting. So that's why your ear is having one of the function of maintaining equilibrium or maintaining a balance, and second function is hearing. Now this is the structure of your ear. The outer structure is the ear is divided into three parts: external ear, middle ear, and internal ear. So this is the external, or you can call it as outer ear. The upper part is known as ear lobe, or you can call it as ear pinna, and internal structure of that is the external structure, but the curve shape, if you can see in the diagram, so that is known as ear canal. Why that is like that, why it is in the curve shape? Because to capture the wavelength of the sound, so it will be easy to pass. Next is middle ear. In the middle ear, the green portion, if you can see, that is green and red portion, if you can see, that is the ear drum. What is the function of ear drum? It is a thin membrane, then vibrates it the vibrations are going to be converted into the rhythm and getting a captured. Okay, and after that it is going to cross and it is going to go in your ossicles. The red structure, if you can see, that is the ossicles. The three small bones which are help to carry out the sound or the wavelength. And the three bones which I have just now told, so these are hammer, anvil, and stapes. And last one is inner ear, which is in the purple color diagram, you can see in the diagram. So first is a cochlea. It is a coiled tube of the inner ear which is a nail shape. Okay, nail shape filled with the fluid and hair like cells, which is very fine and minute. Next is semicircular canal. A semicircular canal is a three small tube in the inner ear, and it controls the balance. And last is auditory nerve. These whatever sound or the wavelengths are coming inside the ear, it is going to be captured by the auditory nerve, and the nerve is going to pass that to the brain. So you will get an idea what the front person is talking. Sorry. So how does it work? Okay, a sound wavelength is are getting collected in the outer ear. A sound, now I am speaking, you can hear it. How a sound wavelength are going to be control in your, or the it is going to be captured in your outer ear, which is in a dome shape. Okay, that is going to be captured, and then a sound wave is going to pass in the ear canal and causes the eardrum to vibrate. Then after that these vibrations are going to send to the inner ear. Okay, and that is going to in the inner ear, that is in the ossicles, the three main bone which I have told you. So in that bone it is going to be go there, and after that it is going to go in the cochlea. In the after going to be cochlea, it is going to be go in the cochlea, and the fluid in the cochlea begins to move. This motion results in the hair cell and sending the impulses to the auditory nerve, and the auditory nerve is having a main function of capturing and hearing impulses and sending to the brain. Then the brain will give next order, and after that that impulses are again going to come, and you will do some action. If I will tell you, you have to lift your left hand, then the same process is going to be takes place, and after that the brain is going to pass the impulses to your left hand, that you have to lift that hand. So these are some ear problem. The infections and all may basically in the middle ear infection is very common than the inner ear and the external ear. and that's why you have to go to audiologist to cure that. Next is a sense of vision that is going to be carried out by eyes. Now, your eyes are having only one main function, that is a vision or the sight. So this is the structure of your eye. Now, in the structure you are seeing the white color one dark circle, if you can see, that is your cornea. It is a transparent coating which covers the iris and the pupil at the front of your eye. Then next is iris. It is a colored part. Somebody's will be black, somebody's will be brown, somebody's will be gray, blue, and so on. Okay, so that is the color of iris. So the colored part of the eye that regulate the amount of light to enter inside. Next part is pupil. Okay, pupil is a small structure which is present in the middle of your iris. The opening at the center of the iris, that is the hole. So whenever in the physical examination you are doing the pupillary reaction, you are checking the pupillary reaction, you are going to check with the light whether it is getting contracted. This normal pupillary size is 3 mm. Okay, normal pupillary size is 3 mm. Now next is lens. It is a clear part of the eye behind the iris and it helps to focus the light and the image on the retina. Next is retina. If you can see the red color structure, that is a retina. So the light sensitive tissue lining at the back of the eye and the retina convert the light into the electric impulses. Whatever now you are seeing, so how this vision process is going to be taken place. Your pupil is going to capture that image through the lens and iris, and it is going to be get projected on your retina. Okay, the image whatever you are seeing, that is going to be captured, it is going to be get projected on your retina. Okay, and it is the light is going to be converted into the electrical impulses that are sent to the brain through the optic nerve. How in the ear there is an auditory nerve, same way in the eye there is an optic nerve. This optic nerve is going to be convert your light into the image, and that image is going to be sent to the brain through with the help of optic nerve. So this is the process how it is going to be. Your light rays are going to be come inside, then after that with the help of cornea you are going to be it is going to be entered into the eye, then the light is going to pass through the retina, and whatever image you are making, it is going to be projected on the retina, and from the retina it is going to be captured by the optic nerve, and this optic nerve is going to send the impulses to the brain. These are some eye problem, that is a pink eye, nearsightedness, farsightedness, and nystagmus. Now I will tell you what is the exact thing. Okay, now focus on this structure. If in the exam it has been asked, it will be the same. Now if the person is going to be having a short sightedness when the person cannot read or see something which is nearer, that is a short sightedness. So the image is going to be formed बिफोर द रेटिना से पहले ही जो इमेज फॉर्मेशन होता है, दैट सपोज टू बी नॉर्मली प्रोजेक्टेड ऑन द रेटिना, बट because the person is having short sightedness, the image is going to be projected before the retina itself. Next is far sightedness. Far sightedness means when the person cannot see something from some distance, दूर का नहीं दिखता है. Okay, if the things are very far, the person cannot see it. So in that case what happened, the image supposed to be come on the retina, then only the person can see properly. But in the case of far sightedness, the image is going to be projected behind the retina के पीछे प्रोजेक्ट हो जाता है, इसके वजह से person cannot see. Now there are some lenses like concave lens, convex lens. So these lenses are helping to project the things on the retina itself. An object supposed to be get, or the image supposed to be get projected on the retina itself, and the lenses are able to be help for that. Whenever you are going for the eye checkup and eye testing, those who are having the spectacles must have experienced, they are putting different type of glasses. ओके जब तुम्हें चश्मे का नंबर देते हैं, सो दे आर पुटिंग different टाइप ऑफ ग्लासेस. सो दीज आर some are the concave lens, some are convex lens. So like that only they are able to manage, they because they wanted to see where your retina is going to form the image, and where your retina is going to form the image, that will be your perfect number of the spectacles. So this was about the eye. So whenever there will be a problem with the eye, you have to consult an ophthalmologist. Okay, and to protect the eye, you have to wear the sunglasses. Protect the eye. This eyewear need to be wear whenever you are doing some sports activity, or else there are too much winds and all. You have to protect your eyes from the UV rays as well. And never share your eyeglasses or eye care product to anybody. So these type of precaution you can take to prevent an eye injury, or else to protect your eyesight. So this was today's topic, that is the sensory organ. If you have any doubt regarding it, you can comment me in the comment box, and I will surely try to solve your query. Again, I am reminding you about the subscription. If till now you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe the channel, so it will be easy for you to get a notification. Thank you.